Hello and welcome to the ServiceNow podcast. I am co-host James Downs.
And I'm Rush here, and we're here to chat about all things ServiceNow, everyday life as a ServiceNow consultant, new features, implementation successes, and perhaps more entertaining when it doesn't go quite so well.
Are we live?
Okay, so we're live now.
Are we
Sorry,
live
just
this
throwing
time?
you there, click the button. Didn't give you we are. The topic for today, what was it? Now learning. Right. Hang on. Who's introing? Me? You?
Yeah, you go.
Okay. Let me get ready. Hello and welcome back to the ServiceNow podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Now Learning and some of the new exciting updates that they've done to it, or at least James tells me they have. So, if you've been here before, you will know the first bit, James and I will generally have a bit of a chat, mainly not related to ServiceNow. But if you can get past that point, stick around and we'll talk about the Now Learning bits afterwards. But before I go into what James has been up to, and he tells us all the exciting stuff he's been doing as a master architect in ServiceNow, let's address the elephant in the room. Because if you have been here before, you'll be used to listening or watching this on a pre-recording, right? But we're doing this live. This is live, people. There's no hiding from this. And I've got to be honest, it's something that I've been doing as part of my Service Nerd channel, plug. But I've been doing it recently because I want to start doing more live streaming. Setting these things up, coordinating the time between you and I and sorting out and editing, that takes time. And it's getting really busy at the minute. Yeah. So for me, live streaming is becoming a bit more convenient to fit into my everyday life. So I've been playing with it.
Yeah.
And
or I'm just too lazy to edit. Who knows? Maybe.
Hang on. Speak for yourself. Who's edited the last few? No.
Fits well into my point. I mean, yeah.
But I kind of sprung this on you this morning, didn't I? You didn't really have any warning.
You did a little bit.
Look, you've had no time to shave. That's how bad it's got. There's no time to shave. No time to take the hoodie off.
I barely got dressed. I've chucked on a jumper. Nothing. You don't see below the waist ears, which is probably a good thing.
Can we make you stand up just to check that you haven't got pajamas on?
No.
You're not standing up.
That's for a different streaming service. Yeah.
For a different streaming service. Oh, yeah. No. So anyway, so I've kind of thrown you in, so I appreciate you saying, yes, let's go. And it also gives us an opportunity to play with this whole streaming setup. We're using this new Riverside website. We're not sponsored by them, but if you do want to sponsor the channel, please drop us a note to talktotheduck@serviceNow.com. Or just drop a DM to me in LinkedIn, and I'll never tell James about it. However, we're playing with it, so it gives us an opportunity to have a muck about. Anyway, I've been talking long enough. How's you? What have you been up to? I haven't spoken to you for a few days, I don't think.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Obviously, been a couple of weeks since our last podcast episode as well. But last few weeks been busy, really, really busy, up and down, I'd say. I'll start with the downs.
Hey. That's a pun on your name. Sorry. Come on.
No, it's not. No.
You didn't like that one, did you?
So, been to hospital a few times in the last week or so. My youngest daughter has been getting some allergic reactions, so we've been trying to figure out what has been causing said reactions, particularly in her diet, to find out what's going on. But no, it's been particularly stressful, to be honest, the last few weeks, because we've been in and out of hospital and just trying to get tests done to figure out what's been causing the problem. I don't know if you've got that in your family, if you've got anyone there that has similar sort of allergies.
I think I've said before, my daughter's quite sensitive when it comes to food. I think that happens. I mean, she's I was going to say getting on a bit there, but she's getting old. She's getting more sensitive to food. And before, she always had issues with like orange, cheese, chocolate, different things like that. I wouldn't say they're allergies, but they made her come out. I mean, she's actually sick at home right now. And she's downstairs. So if she barges through the door asking for more tablet time, then I do apologise. But it's just working from home life, right?
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it can be difficult because I mean, my daughter's had blood tests done. I'm assuming that's what's happening. You're having blood tests done.
Exactly. Yep.
And they actually didn't find anything. But we whittled it down to things like cheese, orange chocolate, and just cut those out. She's all right.
You can
now.
get those intolerance tests, can't you? Where you can like send off like locks of your hair sort of thing and spend like 30 quid and they'll come up with like a massive list. So I did this with my eldest daughter and they come up with really weird like bushes that she's allergic to or certain really random things. Or like things like honey, which would be giving her honey on toast for like ages and not realising that that's been causing other problems. So yeah.
It can be a challenge.
Bit of an annoyance, but that's what it is.
Okay, how's
other than that, on a more lighter note.
Oh, go
on. On a more lighter note, been doing obviously our listeners have been listening into our kind of running escapades as well, in terms of I know we've both got half they don't skipping past that bit. Yeah.
Go on.
They're okay. Anyway, I'm going to tell them anyway. In the last few weeks, I've churned out a 15k and 18k run leading up to the half marathon coming up. I know you've got one coming up. I think is it this weekend or next? I think it's next.
I've got a half marathon coming up on Sunday this weekend. Which is the 14th of May. Yours is the weekend after, right? So you've got a week on me.
Yeah.
So. Are we going to talk in that week? Oh, I suppose we are going to talk in that week. So I'll try and make it sound really positive for you. I won't put you off. But yeah, I'm ready for mine. I know the course, I know the hills, I know the undulations. I've got my strategy put in. I get quite nerdy with it, mate. I really get quite nerdy with it.
I don't think you've done as much prep as what you've done this time round. You've done a lot of prep of, like you say, of the route and things, which you haven't particularly done before. Why? So you, like you say, you proper nerded out.
That. Do you know why? Right? It's because. So the one I'm doing is just down the road for me. It's 5 miles down the road. Not even that, actually, 3 miles down the road. So I have the opportunity to go and see it. Why wouldn't you? But I'm also doing this one with a couple of friends and a group of people I don't really know, but they're friends of friends, right? So there's a group of us doing it. And for me, that's what it's mainly about. It's about not the event itself, but the whole run-up, the whole geeking out about, the whole discussions, the whole camaraderie that we have and the kind of bants, you know? The banter about who's going to finish, who's going to be following who up the hill. And that's it for me. And I went into it going, well, I want to hit this time. I'm going to hit this time. And in the last week, I've kind of reduced that and said, I'm not worried about that time. I'm just going to enjoy it because, like you, I've been on races before where you hit and if you run, you know this, right? You hit this heart rate that you know there's no getting that back in the control. You'll get to a point where you know I can't control that anymore. And if you do that too early, let's say 10 miles into a 13-mile run, that last 3 is going to be horrific. It's going to really hurt. You're going to go to some dark places and you're going to hate life. And statistically, I actually enjoy that. But this time,
I say you quite like that,
I said, this time, that's not going to happen. I'm just going to enjoy it with my buddies. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm going to say that you'll start thinking you're going to enjoy it. But the competitive nature and the nature of you trying to achieve PBs and things like that, I reckon that almost instinct will kick in about, I don't know, 10k in or something. You go, oh, actually, I'm on a decent pace here for the first 10k.
Yeah,
let's pick it up a bit. And then you start trying to catch up one of your mates.
Yeah, let's not go there. Like, I wore the vape flies on the training run the other day just to test them. Oh my God, they're fast. They're really quick. It's so nice. They just make you feel awesome. Anyway, sorry. I digress.
Anyway, running chat.
Anyway, so that's a bit about what I've done. But yours, you've got your half marathon the week after mine. So you've done your you've done your last long run of the training block now, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've done my last long run. I'm just going to do a few low heart rate runs, probably in zone 2 for those who know your zones, to just keep my legs ticking, nothing too strenuous, and to keep the fitness up, I think. And then it's just about resting, keeping your legs nice and rested for the day, so you're nice and fresh and ready to go at your best version of you.
Yeah,
basically.
That's my plan this week. I did a 5K yesterday, and I've got 3 maybe tomorrow, but I'm just going to literally plod super slow.
There's so many aspects to your run going well or not well that I'm finding out. Like, trying to fuel correctly, trying to hydrate correctly beforehand, getting enough sleep beforehand, when do you eat lots of carbs, lots of things that can potentially put your run off completely.
So it's an interesting mix. Even that first negative thought, it's about how to crush that first negative thought straight away, right? How to stop it and stop it from growing any further. If you have just joined us, well, congratulations for making it here.
This is ServiceNow and ServiceNow.
It is ServiceNow related. We just digressed. Let me bring us back on topic. So we've talked about before. We've got there's some kind of event happening next week in Vegas.
Some kind of event.
Yeah, what it's called. No, we got Molly's 23.
No.
Met Gala. So we've got Longest 23 happening next week. James and I won't be there. I'm pretty annoyed with myself for not going. Boo hoo hoo. But it looks like it's going to be mega, right? Everyone's getting super excited about it. And what we thought we'd do is try and, for those people who can't go, try and include them a bit more than they already are, right? So our idea was if we could do one of these, like a live podcast. This is the kind of pre-run for it, just James and I chewing the fat. But next week, what we want to do, probably Monday, Tuesday, is a live podcast with someone or some people, as a hint, that are over in Vegas that can tell us the stuff we really want to know, right? The informal stuff. What swag's there? I want to know what swag's getting picked up. I saw some awesome Star Wars stuff going in there. I want to know who they're meeting, what MVPs they're meeting. I want to see a selfie with Chuck. I want to know things like that.
Ooh, we should do some kind of hit list, shouldn't we? Yeah.
We should have things.
Or a task. Getting to do tasks, like task mode.
Yeah, so we've got 2 guests actually. But I guess before we go into this whole now learning conversation, because we're 12 minutes in, should we decide we've got to schedule the podcast for next week? Should we? Let's sort it out now. When should we sort that out? So everyone else is just going to have to come along with us for this journey while we organise our next podcast.
We're going into podcast admin.
In this next section. It doesn't happen just by magic. We do organise it. So when should we do that then? Because it starts on Monday, right? Knowledge.
Starts on Monday. I think it goes on for a few days. I don't mean going on whining on, but I mean it takes part over a few days. Obviously, we'll need to choose the best days to do it as well. If you do it too at the beginning, then people don't have a chance to then attend these sessions and tell us about them. So we almost want to do it a few days in, I think.
You're Mr. Research. What time is it over there now? Have a look. What time is it in Vegas?
I'm going to say...
But we could do it, I think, from memory, if we did it at 5 o'clock our time, so 5 o'clock British summertime, in the evening. That would be in the morning around 8 or 9 o'clock, maybe?
Yeah, so they are 8 hours behind.
All right, get one of those converters. I'm not doing maths. That's what we have computers for.
So it may well be, into our evening. It'll be an evening in the UK.
Okay.
So 8 hours.
Right, so they're 8 hours behind, right?
Or something.
Oh, you're useless, man. I'm going to do it. Right, okay. Time converter. If you're listening to this, if anyone's actually watching and got the answer, just stick it in the comments. Right, time difference calculator. Why do they make things so difficult? Right, okay. Add locations. Oh, I've got one of those annoying things. I'm using Edge for the minute. London. Right, hang on. Oh, this is painful. Vegas.
So you get, you're also getting the time frames for like India and
Yeah. Right, hang on. Right, don't know what I'm doing.
we don't want to alienate anybody from any time zone. So,
No, but
yes.
Well, hang on. Oh, hang on. So if we said, no, we're not, but we've got to be pragmatic, right? All right, okay. So here we go. So I was right. Why didn't you just say yes for us? You're correct. So 9 o'clock in the morning, Vegas time, is 5 o'clock in the afternoon, our time, right?
Yes. 8 hours. Well done.
Yeah, all right. I don't do math like that. I panic. So we could do. So how about could we do 6 o'clock? So that'll make it 10 o'clock. That'll give.
Yes.
So if we do it, aim for Tuesday at 10 o'clock. That'll give whoever. Okay, we'll go for 9 or 10. Maybe slightly early if we can, because we'll have to look at what they've got planned. They might
exactly. If there's keynotes in the morning, then might want to be after that. Yeah.
Okay, so I think we'll talk to the people, find out what sessions they're going for, and just say, look, we'll aim for Tuesday, because that'll give us a good insight to what's happened on the Monday. That have been there for the day, probably hungover, which is actually what we want to see.
That's where you get the real gossip.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll aim for Tuesday. And in terms of making sure all this stuff works, text, I think there's like an app that they can use, Riverside app, right? So they should be able to use it on a phone if they need to, and just walk around like this, because that's what we want.
Show us about. Yeah.
We want to do this whole in your ear, like Anton Deck, don't we? If you don't know, you're not in the UK. There's a program where they have like headphones on, so you go around and do what they're told. That'd be quite fun. Which we can make it do all sorts of stuff. No, let's not do that.
Oh no.
Okay, so we'll go for Tuesday afternoon, and find out what their schedule is, and try and schedule something in
a good time.
Tomorrow or Friday lunch times, just to go through and make sure this techie bits work. Okay, and if anyone is actually watching this and wants us to ask questions or wants to join on the podcast on Tuesday, then drop something in the comments, and any feedback's always appreciated.
Yeah, if you've got any questions that you'd like us to pose to those who are attending, by all means, drop us a line.
Absolutely. So, with that waffle in mind, that was good. That was a good bit of planning. What else do I need to organise with you?
Exactly. Yeah, what should we get out of the way?
Oh, the other thing is, I was going to mention the LinkedIn page. I've been doing a lot of work on that recently. We've got our podcast LinkedIn page, which we've now started inviting people in, so we can start putting on the fact that we live streaming and all that kind of good stuff. So that was the other thing. Do I need you to do any admin stuff? Let's just get our admin out of the way. So, go on then. Back on topic. We are now 18 minutes in. We haven't got long. Let's talk about Now Learning. So you want to talk about Now Learning snazzy improvements. So the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah. So I received some a bit of information this morning about a Now Learning update through my CMA channels. Not knowing what that update is, I've already knew that Now Learning could have done with a bit of a facelift. I think there was a few interesting challenges with it in the past in terms of getting to your courses and your paths and understanding where you are on your kind of journey of learning ServiceNow. And there's been a few updates which I think I can share. I'm happy to share my screen if everyone's happy to view it as we kind of have a look at the new Now Learning page.
You say everyone, like there's anyone watching, but carry on. Now, go on, let's share screen, but we're going to be mindful that I'm going to try and take this and upload it as a podcast as well. So, just explain the screen. Don't talk all the way through it, though. We might be here for a while.
No, I'm not going to talk to each word, but hopefully you're able to see this screen okay.
Wait there.
I will zoom in a touch to
Well, I'll tell you something.
help out.
Bizarrely, I can see that on the live stream quicker than I can on my screen in Riverside.
Oh, that's
That's
interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Not so much for everyone else,
Yeah.
but come on then.
So, so you can see obviously in the usual service portal banner world of updates showing major updates and now learning. Obviously, a few things that comes to mind immediately is, like it mentions at the top, in terms of color scheme and the kind of design of the now learning homepage has been updated. I've only had a little play with this to see, what new things are on there and how easy it is to get to the likes of your learning and your progress and your certs and things like that. But there's one massive new thing in here, something called career journeys, and I don't know if you've heard of this in the pipeline or anything on the socials around career journeys. It probably fits in quite well with the Rise Up campaign. And
Yes, I would imagine so.
obviously we've known about things like paths in the past, and different ways that you can become have accreditations for different roles or who you are and what you want to do. So you've got career journeys here, which is interesting. You can see there's I think there's 5 automatically here. So you've got a journey for system admin, you've got app dev, implementer, process analyst, and technical project manager. And each of these journeys have a list of paths and courses and different online learning that you can take to obviously help you towards that journey of becoming an app developer or a system admin.
That's interesting. So that is something that definitely was a part of the whole Rise Up portal-y type of thing, where they had the different job profiles and you could see a bit about each one. So they've obviously taken that step further and put it inside here as well. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually just going to go into the system admin one to show that one. They've split it down quite nicely, actually, because you've got different levels for the roles as well. So they've got associate system administrator, professional, and expert. And all the different journeys seem to follow that same levels approach. I think for implementer, they've got another one in here as well. But, mainly there's those 3. And each one of these, you can see it, and name the game show here, Russ, have a list of different articles or videos for you to kind of follow through in order to achieve, associate system administrator. But this reminds me of a particular game show. I don't know if it travels across to other areas, but in the UK, certainly.
Blockbusters has got to be everywhere, isn't it? Got to be.
That's it. I think so.
But
can I have a pee, please, Bob?
So this is like the career journey, right? For an admin. And these are the different elements.
Yes, so this is a career journey for an admin,
to meet that requirement. So let's have a look. What have they got there?
Exactly, yeah. So you've got some optional stuff in there. You've got some required stuff in there. What's really nice is the descriptions of these things.
Hold the phone. A day in the life of a system admin for 3 minutes. Okay.
You can imagine that's fast forwarded quite a bit. You wake up, you do your teeth.
You do some stuff and you go home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly, yeah. But I think having little bits and pieces in here about, not pure ServiceNow skills is also a good thing, because to be a system administrator, you might have to think about other stuff. So it's pointing out the community here and getting yourself up and running on the community profile.
Scroll down.
There might be stuff in here to do with Rise Up. So, like I say, it's not directly straight to do with, let's just go and develop stuff in ServiceNow. It's building you up along with your soft skills, which I think is quite nice as well.
So scroll down. I'm going like that. Can you see my finger? I'm pointing go. Let's see what else is in there. Let's maybe have a look at it.
Yeah, yeah. So you got a few videos. You got a few like kind of welcome courses. I mean, a few of these take quite a few hours. A few micro certs. That seems to be a new one. A micro cert for Welcome to ServiceNow. Earn yourself a
hang on,
badge for that.
what's that? ServiceNow credentialing. ServiceNow is that? I can't see, your screen's a bit fuzzy. Is that what it says in the middle, right in the middle? ServiceNow.
Yeah, ServiceNow credentialing program guide,
Right. Okay.
which is another new term that I haven't come across before.
No.
Credentials, I think they are terming as essentially your accreditation. So it could be your deltas, it's your your mainline
Okay.
certs, and micros as well. Is all in this kind of
Okay.
credentials.
That's interesting that takes 15 minutes, which is a lot longer than a day in the life of an admin. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, let's proper go through it. Let's have a look.
Yeah, so it goes into the likes of the fundamentals, which you'd expect to be a required one. So those in dark blue, of course, is optional, and ones in white is required.
Yeah.
So you can just go through and do the welcome, go through your fundamentals, and then you kind of going straight into the likes of Flow Designer, which is interesting. The first. Yeah.
Does that not strike
I'm
you
sure
as
I
a
agree
bit?
with that.
Yeah, a bit bizarre. It's like, hey, this is the day in the life of sysadmin, which I agree with. It's always nice to kind of get a real life, providing it is.
Yeah.
But then go.
I mean, you can see in the descriptions here what you're aiming to kind of achieve from this, which is which I prefer, but it doesn't really match with what's down below, really. But it focuses on so an introduction to obviously system administration. I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Great, you get a micro cert for the welcome, and you start preparing for the likes of the system admin mainline, which makes sense. So this is for people who haven't already taken that CSA exam.
Yeah.
It says here, obviously, how many years typically experience, which helps too. Gets you, joining the community and understanding where to go for help, which is good. And I think I like this as well, assisting with incident management. As a good starting point, as ITSM is always kind of like the bread and butter, I guess.
Yeah.
The first things you kind of look into with ServiceNow. Incident management makes sense, and just common instance management stuff and admin tasks. I thought that would be a good thing as a starting point.
This is interesting. So there's a clear
system admin.
There's a clear change to the UI, isn't there? Because they've had this kind of path before. Which was never around when we did our admin courses. It was just go and do the 3 days and then pass the exam. Scroll down. Let's see what else is in here then.
Yeah.
So we think...
Yeah, so for Pro... Yeah, so for Pro, it goes a bit more into Flow Designer again. So they're really heavy on Flow Designer, clearly. I think another thing with this is obviously... This is them trying to kind of push you in certain directions for the future for ServiceNow as well, I think. They're being very selective about the kind of things that they want you to learn. It's not a case of you trying to find stuff that you find interesting. It's like, you should know about this because this is what the future is, sort of thing.
Yeah. But just scroll down. I'm just... So I did a live stream this morning, and I answered a couple of questions that people have asked me either via LinkedIn or email or whatever. And one of the things that always strikes me is... I'm looking for it here. Is where's the... Oh, subscribe to... all right, brilliant, okay. Yes, absolutely subscribe to his articles. But one of the things that strikes me is where's the debugging? Where's the problem solving? Where's the... You know what I mean? Where's that capability in there? And how do you train that other than getting your hands on the tool? I think these, for me, are great to kind of lead you down here's the foundational knowledge. But as many people will hopefully back me up on this, you learn by getting your fingers dirty in it. You know what I mean? Building stuff, breaking stuff on a PDI. Of course, don't do that in prod or a customer's instance. But on your PDI, get involved, practice these things out in your own spare time. And really see how it works. And that's look at other people's work as well. That's one of the best ways I learn. I remember is debugging someone else's code because you don't understand it, so you have to work it out, right? You have to Google or Chat GPT now. You could to work those things out.
Yeah,
absolutely get your hands dirty with it, I think.
Yeah, I have seen a lot more of the kind of soft skill stuff in some of the other journeys around, how to present in a workshop, that sort of thing. You
Mm.
know, yeah, so it really delves into that sort of thing, and now create and other
Yeah,
things to kind of help you out. And there is some things in like power skills. I mean, that could come into troubleshooting potentially.
is there
It looks
anything?
like they're in the right direction.
Is there anything? So this is, of course, this is very ServiceNow specific, which sounds blindingly obvious, right? Because it is ServiceNow. But is there
Sure.
anything that kind of recommends in order to enrich your capability? We recommend learning about things like agile, perhaps safe. We recommend ITIL is 4 now, isn't it? You know what I mean? Is there any of that they've put in?
Yeah,
Is there
other
any
kind of
additional
frameworks.
learning? Yeah.
No, I don't think I've seen any of that in here, to be honest. And actually, when I was looking through the project manager one,
Uh-huh.
I was expecting to see exactly that around, you should really know agile and, waterfalls
Yeah,
and
yeah,
other
yeah.
methods and frameworks.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Brilliant.
it
No.
goes straight into, let's learn about PPM. It's like, maybe there should be some introductory stuff. If you're brand new and you want to go in the line of project management, maybe it'd be good to have some kind of, free little course or something, or even, like you
Yeah,
say, a
yeah.
recommendation.
Okay.
Say, maybe you want to check out Agile first.
What else? What else can we see? What else is new that you picked up on?
Yeah, so again on the homepage, one thing which I do like quite a lot, and something I struggled with in the past, is finding the courses and stuff that I'm in the middle of, or things that I've kind of planned, all on the homepage here.
You
You don't need to kind
know,
of deviate away from the homepage, which is good. Here's
you've
this
done.
really
Hang on.
nice
You've done
widget to check.
108 courses, have you?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, should we have a battle off? Should we see how
Well, you
many
might
I
be
can?
surprised when you go on, if you go on and see what your numbers are.
Shall I do it? Let me have a
I'm
look.
actually
Hang
surprised
on.
by 108.
Right. Let me have a play. Carry on. I'm gonna have a play, and we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's almost like top trumps, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. I thought that beforehand. I think that's another thing with this, is it kind of brings in a bit of the gamification kind of style. I think obviously they already had
Yeah.
that with badges and things like that, but this makes it a lot more in your face about. Do you know what I mean? You got in.
Oh,
I
it does.
mentioned about those roles with the journey. You get like 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars
Yeah.
in that kind of badge as you achieve them. It's definitely like, oh, I've achieved this, or oh, I'm only
Yeah.
a
It's a
2 star badge.
bit more gamification, a bit more. Gives a bit
Yeah,
more competitiveness
more
between
current.
us. But
Yeah.
do you know what's really damaging though, mate? Is because you're a certified master architect, right? I'm not. I've got nothing to lose in this conversation. So-
I think you've done a lot more learning than me. I've got 8
oh
main
no no no
lines, I
no
think,
no
but
no, that's not allowed. No, I'm joking aside. I'm joking. You're quite right. I think years ago I had a spate of I was going to say downtime. I don't think I ever had downtime, but no, I had a spate of going through. Oh, there's MFA. I've never set that up on Now Learning
yeah,
before.
that's also new. Yeah, there was a few options for MFA as well, not just.
There
Actually,
is, yeah.
they didn't have MFA for Now Learning before, did they? I'm just trying to think. Maybe they did.
Do you know what? They
But,
probably did, and because I always have to type my password in twice, it really bugs me. Really bugs
yeah,
me. Here we go. You ready? Should we?
go
Let's
on
play
then.
top 10 then. I'll go first.
Go on.
I can see the screen. You can't see mine. So
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
tell you, I have 73 badges.
Oh, look at that.
I have
Yeah.
129 courses.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, credentials though, you've got me. I've got
I've got you on
78.
credentials. The one
Yeah.
that matters.
Oh, hang on. Oh, actually, if you click view achievements, you can go into it,
Yeah,
and then you can see how many you've got in progress. Come on,
exactly. It's a
arrest
nice little
yourself.
breakdown.
Do it. Do it. How many have you got in progress? Oh, you've got a few more than me. That must mean you're more keen than I am. Oh well. That's all right. I quite enjoyed that little bit of top trumps there.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know why, but I quite like the animation on this content progress.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that when you went into your few achievements. That was quite nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So other than that, I mean, yeah, it's just really I think for me, the biggest takeaways, I think, for the new Now Learning UI is it's just so much easier to get around.
Yep.
I think the journeys are absolutely on the right track to making it easy for those who are new and easy for those who are even expert to kind of, tick off the necessary boxes to get to where you want to be. Yeah, I like it. It's clean.
So I'm conscious of time. We're at 35 minutes, and we spent most of the time, as we always do, talking about service stuff that's not related to ServiceNow. To finish this off, to round it up though, and if you have just joined, we've been talking about the Now Learning enhancements. James has been kind of taking us through his initial findings so far. What would you say, what's the next step for Now Learning? What could they improve on? From what you've seen, where should they go next?
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen for some of those tiles that came up in our kind of blockbusters, these are the things you should check out. I think we kind of, we stumbled upon it in terms of maybe they should include more things which are not specifically ServiceNow related. I think they're on the right track. I've seen a few things in there, and I'm sure they're going to improve it over time. But I'd suggest to continue on that track. I think to maybe include some links for the service ducks in there as some of these tiles.
That's always an improvement.
But no, just continue on that path. It's clean enough to use now. I think it needs to be absolutely clear. I think one of the things that I struggled with in the past as well is knowing that what things you need to go and buy a voucher for. You do a course, but then at the end of it, you're like, oh, now I need to go buy a voucher to do the exam. I thought was included. Whereas I've seen a few links on there as well, which I didn't show in that screen share. It showed a nice little table of this is what you get if you're on a course, if you do a free on-demand course, if you do it in person, which was very useful as well. But yeah, they need to continue down that track, I think, of improving more external things to ServiceNow.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I said it at the time, didn't I? That's what I spotted is where's the external stuff like the agile training that we recommend, not necessarily that they provide, but that in order to reach your role, you might want to do this. So it's probably like an SFIA. So Sapphire framework is like a HR framework for job profile. So kind of look towards that and include your soft skills, like you said, presentation, things like doing a good demo. What does a good demo look like? And I didn't see that on there on the initial look. Perhaps we need to have another poke around.
Yeah.
But I would add to your bit around how getting more involved, playing with what you've just learned, and not necessarily here's the lab exercises on step one. I click this button on step one. Not that, but real world scenarios.
Yes. Yeah.
Because the customer never says. You never get a bunch of stories that say, I want an instance created, so when I click this, all right, okay, you do sometimes, but that tends to not happen. It's more, you need to guide the customer in best practice, but you also need to go, okay, you've given me that scenario, which isn't including in my training. Now, how do I work out with the tools that I've been given to give you the solution that kind of meets with best practice, right?
Yeah. And it's actually, that's actually a conversation I've had with ServiceNow before, during my CMA course, actually, about having those kind of almost demo environments there with preloaded. Obviously, there's Demo Hub and different things like that where you can load in data for specific industries as well, which is great. But that needs to be more readily available, that you can just spin up and you don't have to wait days for it to load. And that should be part of your journey as well, like you say. That should be there, available for you to say, right, I want to now go play with this. I want to see what others have done and have preloaded stories that other people have done, so you can just go and try it for yourself. That would be brilliant, I think.
No, I agree. So I think that's a good summary. So it's got some really good UI improvements. Go and have a quick play. Go to Now Learning. Forget the URL. We'll put it in the description. Just type in Now Learning in Google. Go and have a play. Go and see what it means to you. See if you can knock me off the top spot in terms of badges and credentials and everything.
Yes. That's it.
But I guess, James, for you and I, we should have a catch up tomorrow if we can with the people that are going to be on the podcast next week. So that's coming up next week. We're going to do this podcast, or hopefully live cast, with people that are out in knowledge. So make sure you join us for that one. It'll be on YouTube, maybe LinkedIn. We're not kind of that brave yet. And yeah, we need to sort that out for tomorrow. So until then, it's been great doing this live stream, seeing how it all works. I think for me, it's gone well. The tech hasn't let us down. We've only let ourselves down, but that's kind of normal.
They're used to that. They're used to that.
Yeah, they're used to that. So I guess until next time, it just remains us to say, I've been Russ.
I've been James.
And this is Service Ducks.
That's all for today's podcast. Thank you for listening, and if you want to get your question answered by the Service Ducks, get in touch through talktotheduck at service-ducks.com, or just use one of the links below.